Hi, I'm Peter J. Ray. Welcome to Adventures in History. Today's topic is Resalest Educational Center. High school graduation, Manila, Philippines, 1999. We had our graduation in 1999 at Christ the King Mission Seminary, which is located at 101 E. Rodriguez Street, E. Rodriguez Avenue in Quezon City, Metro Manila, Philippines. And it's a real wonderful place. Large grounds. We used to go there a lot, especially when our son Tim was very young. They have a nice area to walk around, and it's like a big park. And so anyway, we had our graduation there in a large church, and Father Tom Cassidy was the priest who officiated the Mass. So we had a Mass and then actually a long graduation ceremony. We gave awards to all of the students and staff, so it kind of went on and on and on. And since we did that, I'd like to talk about each of the students and staff here. Starting with the students, during the school year of 1998-1999 at Resalest, Brian Yu was a very nice young man, very kind, hardworking, good student, and I think had a lot of goodwill, and people liked him. He was really a good person. Victor Basa, now we're starting from first year through fourth year. First year first. Victor Basa has become very successful in the world of television and movies and modeling and acting. And Victor was a fine young man, a very he became a very hardworking person and a good guy, and really wonderful sense of humor. I remember he was the one who did the Star Wars imitation from the scene where Episode 1, where Yoda and Anakin or the one guy says, "You fear for your mother," and then Anakin says, "What's that got to do with anything?" And then Yoda says, "Everything. Fear leads to hate. Hate leads to anger. Anger leads to suffering." Anyway, Victor used to say that. He was a good guy, became an outstanding student, wonderful person. Christian Tinoco, very funny guy, and good guy, and he had a lot of goodwill. People liked him. He was sort of a happy guy and full of life, really a fine person. Philip Ang. Philip actually has had a successful career in the medical field. For a while, he pursued professional golfing. You can tell he's a very hard worker, and yeah, he had a really good sense of humor, very joyful, and was very patient. He could put up with a lot of kidding. Richard Manyalak. Richard came from Ateneo. Richard was a character. He was another funny guy, and he had a full of life. Very lively person. Coco Galang. Coco was, he was a good student and very mature, and had a very strong spirit. Andrew Ko has become very successful. He's living in Singapore now. Andrew was fairly quiet, soft-spoken, very peaceful, very kind young man, and real good person. Tina or Tin Consumito. Tin was real patient, hardworking, good person, persevering, and she had a good sense of humor, and she was a real good friend, had a lot of friends. Tin Consumito. Luigi Guerrero. He was a good guy. Yeah, he was had a good spirit, would smile and laugh, and yeah, you could see he'd endured. He'd had hardships in his life, but he had a lot of friends. People really liked Luigi. Chico Lockie, apparently he's known as Hans Lockie now. Hans Lockie, we'll call him Hans. He was a funny guy and smiled a lot. A good guy. People liked Chico or Hans, and it was real nice having him around. He had a real good spirit. James Lim. God bless James Lim. He left this world. I was very close with James. He was a really good guy, and he was into Star Wars, very outgoing, very kind, really a good person, and and very really a good friend. He was my good friend, many good friend for many people. Vince Santos. Vince was another good guy. I really enjoyed his company. I remember he used to joke in PE when I was announcing, that in the NBA, the announcer would talk about in off the glass, since the backboard was glass in the NBA, and ours was wood at the Roosevelt Park, and he'd say, "A good in off the wood." He's joking about that. Good fella. Vince Santos, really liked him, and he liked to mention these references to Austin Powers that we used to joke around about during that time. Kurt Hahn. Kurt Hahn's the life of the party. Really a wonderful person. Very lively. Yeah, when I was early on, I was very strict, or in the previous school year, and I'd had a lot of conflict with Kurt, unfortunately, and I finally got tired of it, so I kind of changed my teaching style. Really a good fellow, very kind, and not very obedient. So he's a real free spirit, but I think really a good person, and definitely makes a major contribution to the lives of other people. Johnson Choa, real good guy. Yeah, people really like Johnson, or I think they used to call him Sen. He's done very well in his career, and has a very nice family. Good guy. People really liked him, had a lot of friends. Camille Alfonso. She had a strong spirit. Yeah, very strong person, and very patient and kind, and people, hard worker, and like I said, strong spirit. Paulo de Leon. Paulo is another student who's left this world. God bless him. Paulo was a good friend, and he had he'd been through some hardships in life, but he was a good person, and had a good sense of humor, and people liked him. Rose, or Beam Consumido. Yes, I called her Rose. I guess everybody else called her Beam. Beam was very kind, very hardworking, very respectful, very good student, and really enjoyed having her at Resalest. Christopher Batak, he's moved to Canada, has done very well in his career. Christopher was very mature and strong-spirited, patient, and very kind, and he was also had a good sense of humor. Walter Coe, I believe, is living in New Zealand. Walter was a hard worker and patient. Yeah, he could put up with people joking around, and he'd come from Ika came from Xavier. Good guy. He had a lot of goodwill and a real nice person. BJ, or Beej Fabiosa. Beej's father was a professional basketball player, and Beej also was a good player. Beej was a good guy, good basketball player, very mature and very strong-spirited, and really wonderful having him in the school. Ernest Galarza. Ernest was a free spirit, very creative. He was, unique, and he was a good guy. I was friends with him. He wasn't in the school for a very long time, but really enjoyed his company, and wish him well. Kind of wish I'd gotten to know him better, because he withdrew from the school. Miguel Lazaro, he got into this UFC fighting, which I didn't quite understand at the time. But anyway, he was very mature, strong-spirited, hardworking, good person. Miguel Lazaro. Shermy Peregrina. Sure, I remember one morning she was laughing before school, and I thought, this is what I wanted. This is why I wanted the students to be happy. Shermy she was a nice person, very kind, and she was she had this joy of life, which is so important. Good person. Mike Poa, another strong-spirited guy, very mature. Yeah, and he had this strength of character, and he'd also been through a lot. He was a good guy. He had a good basketball player. I liked having Mike. He had a strong spirit. Good fella. David Ang. I really enjoyed David. David's a funny guy. He used to get pizza on the way to, or order a pizza going to PE from Pizza Hut and pick it up on the way back. He used to play tennis. Really a nice guy. Really a good person, and he has a wonderful family of his own. Very, very successful. He's really a good guy. Really enjoyed his company. Uta Cruz, or Jose Mari Cruz. Now, we called him Uta. He was a real nice, funny guy. Enjoyed his company, and real wonderful spirit. He could play. Yeah, he was I think, was the block shots king at one point. A tremendous basketball player, and yeah, good fellow. Really nice, really good spirit. Uta. Koji Yamaguchi. Koji was Japanese. Yeah, Koji was. It was nice having someone from another country. Koji was very hardworking, very patient, and yeah, he played hard. Played hard in basketball. He had the Japanese spirit of very hardworking and astute, very studious. Good fellow. He had a lot of goodwill. Enjoyed having him in the school. Amiel or Miel Pahati. Miel was a good guy. Really had a good spirit and very, good heart. Very kind. He was a kind fellow, and he's gotten into this like rock climbing. Real nice guy, and he had a lot of goodwill, and you could tell he had a really good heart. Ryan D. Ryan was a very mature, strong-spirited person, very patient. Yeah, he you could tell he had been endured a lot, and he was looking forward to finishing high school. Yeah, Ryan was a good fellow to have in the school, and really a nice person. Vida Gonzalez. Vida was very, very kind, and she had a wonderful smile, very joyful, and another really good person to have around, and and a good friend, really good person. Timothy Mercurio. Timothy came from Canada. So he had a major adjustment in the Philippines. He's back in Canada. Yeah, he was pretty serious, hard worker, and I'm sure very successful in his career. And I really enjoyed having him in the school. Charlene Uy. Charlene was very kind and patient, and our son Tim was very young, and we used to visit her. Sometimes her driver would come late after school, so we would visit with Charlene and Tim, and she was really a nice person, very, very kind, really good person. Jome Gonzalez or Chemari Gonzalez. He lived nearby, and he'd had his struggles in school, but he's a good guy, and he's one of these guys who we all have to endure, and that's what he had been doing, and he was a peaceful guy and really a good person. Mitzi Dayrit. Mitzi was very kind and joyful. Strong spirit, and she had a lot of friends. People liked Mitzi. Frank Vargas. Frank was a good guy. He, I think, was a tremendous ping pong player. He has a wonderful family today and has done very well, and I know he's very dedicated to his church. He had been through hardships and persevered and really enjoyed his company. Very strong spirit. Good fellow. Dennis C. Now we're into the fourth year students. Dennis was a tremendous basketball player. He was very mature, very strong spirited, and people liked him. He had a lot of friends, and he was, you could tell, a guy with a very bright future. Wellard Ramos, or actually I think his official name was Well Sheen, but we called him Wellard. Very kind young man, really a good guy. And you could just tell he just had all this goodwill, and I think everybody liked him because of he got along with everyone. He was very respectful of the teachers, and he was a wonderful friend. Justin Fallerina. Justin was very lively, and enjoyed having him in school. He was talented, also strong-spirited, and a good person, and really. Yeah, pretty happy guy. Good attitude. Carlo Benedicto. Yeah, Carlo was just very, very kind. Really a good guy. I think he might be in New Zealand, or no, Tasmania, Australia. Really good fellow. Yeah, he had a heart of gold. Wonderful having Carlo in the school because he was so kind, and again, he was very respectful of his teachers and had a lot of friends. Rocky Augustin. Rocky was a very mature, strong-spirited, patient, kind guy, and very peaceful. And he's done also very well since leaving, since in the last 22 years or 21 years. Inigo Attilano. Inigo was also, he had been, I think, grown up in the United States. So his family brought him. He came back, and he had a major adjustment. But he was a good guy, and you can see, really persevering, and had a strong spirit and very mature. R.J. Pagsibigan. R.J., another guy who had lived, I think, grew up in the United States and came back. But he adjusted very, very well. He was very popular, tremendous basketball player, very strong person, and real kind. Really a good fellow, R.J. Pagsibigan. Miggy Tanchanko. Miggy was an actor. He was, working. He was a full-time, so he couldn't come to school a lot, but he was a good fellow. Actually, I appeared with him on television. Obviously very talented, and he had a lot of goodwill. And I think he was popular. People liked him because he was kind. Paulo del Rosario. Paulo was a very interesting fellow, a funny guy, and very funny, lively, and I enjoyed his company. We were able to communicate well, and so it was nice having students who treat the teachers like they're human, and rather than just the voice of authority. Good fellow, Paulo del Rosario, very kind. Now the teachers and staff, among the teaching staff, of course, Miss Alice Ray was the principal, and she taught like CLE and home technology. And our fearless leader, very hardworking, very responsible, very kind, and really a good person. And of course, she had to play that role of the head of the school in the Philippine setting of education. Very, very patient, good person. My dear wife, God bless Alice Ray, my sweet wife. Okay, and of course, Mr. Peter Ray, myself, I was teaching English and history, PE, and gym. I tried to be innovative and creative, and because I think education has that opportunity. June Tesorero. June was a good teacher, hardworking and responsible, and very patient. Jerry Salvador, another teacher. Jerry was very, very kind and peaceful, and he was a good guy, really patient with the students. Milo Ventura, another teacher. Milo, I was very close with. Milo was a good guy, very kind and patient, and we developed a wonderful friendship. God bless Milo Ventura. Pilar Ramos, I believe, was Milo's sister. She was a very kind person, very competent, hardworking, responsible, really a good person. Okay, now John Aguila was our driver security guard. I was close with him. John was into meditation, and he was really a wonderful friend and very kind and peaceful and really a good guy having around. Okay, our full-time secretary was Laureen Dolina, who was a very responsible, very competent. She helped me a lot with internet research when I was trying to make these T-shirts, Philippines, a nation of champions. She was a very hardworking person, really an outstanding secretary. Her sister Tessa Dolina was our part-time secretary who would come on weekends, and Tessa was very... she was a good friend, and she would, very hardworking person. She's had a successful career in teaching in New York City for many years, apparently. Tessa would write a lot of letters to the editor for our family history publications. Emil Garcia. Emil Garcia is Miss Alice's brother. He was helping with bookkeeping. Very peaceful, kind man, hardworking, really a good guy. Actually, Miss Alice's father, Emiliano Garcia Sr., I think was still involved at this time with working with the school in terms of the bookkeeping and so forth. He was a funny guy, good fellow. Now Alice Turlau, or we called her Manang, she was the household helper, so she was cooking and cleaning, very hardworking and kind person and patient, really a good person. And then we had these priests who were coming for the first Friday Masses. Father Stan Plutz, a very good friend of mine, very kind. He died about this last couple of years. Really a kind, peaceful man. And Peter Michael, another one of these priests, he was from Germany, very hardworking, good fellow, and really a wonderful priest, Peter Michael. And then, of course, in this video, Tom Cassidy, who was American, who handled the mass for the graduation, and was also a friend of mine that I used to visit at Christ the King. And now the movie, folks.
gardening. The Unique Soul Botany Enthusiast Award goes to Victor Bonsella. Go Big Go. This guy can play basketball. He shows up for games as a scoring machine, fights for the big rebound, and makes the big play. He's also one funny guy. The Basketball All-Star Really Funny Guy Award goes to Christian Tinoco. He can do it all, whether it's rebounding and scoring or driving, irons and making a hilarious joke. The Athlete, Comedian, Outstanding Young Man Award goes to Philip Ang. Come on, you can do better than that. I know he's not here, but let's remember these guys. Of course, Resalest is one big family. This day is a special day for our 4th year. We're one big community. Okay, this next student wrote a couple of haiku poems that were very nice. I am so sleepy, I could just fall down and faint. I would like a bed. Resalest is cool. The guys make you want to laugh. I love it here. Next student is and with aggressive basketball play. The Scholar Artist Basketball Superstar Award goes to Koji Yamaguchi. Let's hear it for Koji. Okay, he also made the honor roll every quarter. He is one incredible basketball player and no slouch in the classroom either. Mostly, his heart is pure gold. The athlete, scholar, studied at Resalest for 2 years, and this year made the honor roll every quarter, and he was a basketball all-star every quarter. He's the 4th year valedictorian, and he wrote some haiku poems that I'd like to read to you now. They're really great. The earth, moon, and stars float in the big universe. This next young man studied at Resalest for 3 years. This next young man wrote a poem. This next all supply creativity to what others mistake as a form of self-hate, only to make an enemy, which results in a fortunate destiny. No one can be just like Resalest. He's one of the two basketball most valuable players, a Hall of Famer and an All-Star, virtually unstoppable on the basketball court. A diligent scholar and a most Super Terrific Guy award goes to Paolo Rosario. First of all, I'd like to thank my parents, Mr. and Mrs. John and Ray of Cleveland, Ohio, and my grandparents, Mr. and Mrs. Dora and Ray of Sandusky, Ohio, on my dad's side, and Mr. and Mrs. George Smallshaw of Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. Okay. He is a really friendly man who is always available for a good talk about politics or books. All the best, Father. The Distinguished Service Great Friend Award goes to Father Tom Cassidy. Let's hear it for Father Tom. Okay, we're really going to miss his smiling face next year. All the best to Guy Beck. Keep up the great work. The Outstanding Musician Great Guy Award goes to Ronald San Jose. Let's hear it for Ronald. Hey, this guy's here. We could always count on him to help out with our first Friday Masses. A considerable number of thanks and congratulations on graduating. Hey. Hey, play. He played in 61 games.
after all the we have gone through, we have finally reached our goal. We are finally committed. Today, our graduation day, if you believe it, we have waited for this day for so long, and now it has come, as the into the real world, a world known as college, readying us for an even greater reality known as life. For us, we reunified in that world. It will seem like an endless array of obstacles and challenges, a constant war of mind, body, and spirit, that if we so much as stumble and observe, we will lose life. And yet, after all that we have been through to get here, amidst all that the hands are doing, we believe ourselves as study. I'm sure that we will be able to weather it all out to the end, just like we did here. With the help of
classmates and parents, ladies and gentlemen. What can I say? First of all, I want to thank God for everything He's done for us, for all the blessings. My parents, folks, being there for me, for their support. Resalest for the education and all. Thank you, Ms. Millie, for your guidance. Here. Thank you. Well, finally made it. I hope my fellow classmates will achieve their goals and their dreams. And best of luck. Thank you.
Supported me for 3 years as Mr. Peter Ray, a very kind old man. And I'd like to thank my parents, my guardians, and my classmates for being there for me and supporting me always. I don't know, I'm speechless. Nabibigito ako sa wakas.
first of all, I want to thank God Almighty and everyone, my parents, teachers, students. College is one big step. It's not like high school where you watch out together. It's just something that you have to constantly remind. It's a big giant step. And maybe not any graduated school just has to be just like school because college. Whether I go back, just remember what happened, right? So, for me, Dennis, see you twice. And of course, always been there for me and never let me down. You always there in times of needs and you always put up with my stuff.
my fellow graduates, teachers, and beloved parents, ladies and gentlemen, and pleasant afternoon. Graduating is an outstanding achievement which would reflect all our efforts and sacrifice as we venture forth into gaining education. For order to satisfy not only our parents and friends, but also to secure a promising future for ourselves. But what lies ahead of us for this moment on? This graduation day would not mark the end of all. On the contrary, this commencement exercise would just signify a step towards a higher level, to college and the succeeding years. To my dear friends, whom I learned to love, the memories we have all shared together through the years will always be treasured. I will never forget these faces, for those are the unique ones that made me laugh. My colleagues, it is a fact that life is just a series of hellos and goodbyes. I hope for us this is not goodbye and will still continue supporting each other towards the path of success. To my dear school, you have nourished us with education, and memories with us will stand firm in our minds. To Miss Alice, our beloved principal, thank you for nurturing us well, for your patience. Sir Peter, meeting a wonderful person like you is such an honor. You have not only been a teacher to me, but a great friend. As well, thank you for your faith in me to excel in some things that I thought I'm not good at. You believed in me, in my abilities and potentials, especially in basketball. You've taught me to do ordinary things extraordinarily well. To my other teachers, thank you for letting me graduate, of course, through my effort to pass your subjects. To my family, thank you for all the support, faith, and most especially patience and love that you have given me. For at last, I have graduated.
Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I want to thank Lord Jesus Christ, and especially my parents, my friends, and my classmates. I love you all, and I'll miss you. Thank you.
Well, that concludes today's presentation. To the students at Resalest during the 1998-1999 school year, Miss Allison and I wish you all the very best. God bless you. We're sorry for our shortcomings. We did our best at the time. And we wish you well, especially now during this difficult time, and in your personal lives and in your careers. God bless you, and we love you. All the very best. Dear viewer, you may consider checking out our website, Adventures in History with Peter J. Ray at peterjray.com. So far, we've made 651 history videos in 7 areas: world history, American history, book reviews, poetic tours, Cleveland baseball, family history, and autobiography. There's a donate feature in the website. You might consider making a donation so we can continue making these videos. You also might consider checking out our podcast, Adventures in History, on Anchor FM Peter / Ray, I believe. If you live in Metro Manila, Philippines, and are looking for a high school, you might consider checking out. You might consider Resalest Educational Center. Resalest is located in Barangay Maytunas, San Juan, Metro Manila, Philippines, on Allenby Street, not far from the corner of P. Guevara and Wilson Street. At Resalest, we specialize in helping young people who have had difficulty in the larger traditional high schools. And the website is resalest.education, RESALEST. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. God bless you. Take care. Happy Easter, and I'll see you next time.